Hello, listeners. Welcome back to the A to Z English podcast. I'm John, and today we're continuing our deep dive into specialized English. In our last episode, we explored applying specialized English in real-life scenarios, focusing on making your language skills relevant and practical. Today, we're going even further. We'll discuss how to effectively communicate specialized English in professional settings, how to adapt your language for different audiences, and ways to practice these skills outside of formal environments.
Hi everyone, Sarah here. If you've been following along, you know how essential it is not just to learn specialized vocabulary, but to actually use it effectively. Whether it's during meetings, in presentations, or just chatting with friends, the way you adapt your language can make a huge difference. So today, we'll provide detailed tips and strategies to help you apply what you've learned confidently in any context.
Exactly, Sarah. Today's episode is all about bridging the gap between what you know and how you use it. We'll look at different techniques, provide real-world examples, and suggest targeted practices to help you refine your communication skills. Let's get started with our first point. 1. Mastering communication in professional settings. Let's begin by focusing on professional communication, which is one of the most common areas where specialized English is used. Understanding how to present your ideas with clarity and confidence in professional environments can significantly boost your career prospects.
Right, John. The first step is to know your audience. In professional settings, whether it's a business meeting, a client call, or a technical presentation, the language you use should be tailored to your listeners. Ask yourself, are they familiar with the jargon, or will they need additional explanations? For example, if you're discussing market segmentation with your marketing team, it's perfectly fine to use industry-specific terms. But if you're talking to someone from a different department, it might be better to phrase it as, we're breaking down our audience into smaller, more targeted groups to better meet their needs.
That's a great point, Sarah. It's all about adjusting the complexity of your language. In meetings, using precise, specialized language can convey your expertise, but it's important to avoid overcomplicating things. One strategy is to pair complex terms with simple explanations. For instance, in a technical presentation, you might say, "We're implementing a new algorithm designed to optimize user engagement," which simply means it helps users find content they like faster.
And preparation is key here. For professional settings, always prepare your main points and practice how you'll articulate them. It's not just about knowing the terms, it's about knowing how to weave them into your communication naturally. Practicing with colleagues or mentors before big meetings can help you refine your delivery.
Another helpful tip is to use storytelling. Even in professional environments, telling a short story or giving an example can make specialized language more relatable. For instance, instead of saying, "We need to improve our UI," you could say, "Imagine you're a user trying to navigate our app. You'd want the interface to be intuitive and easy to use. That's why we need to make these changes." This way, your message becomes clearer and more engaging. 2. Adapting your language for different contexts. Now, let's talk about adapting your language to suit different contexts. Specialized English isn't just for formal settings. It can be used in various situations, but how you use it can vary significantly.
Exactly. Let's consider a scenario where you're explaining your job to someone who's not in your field. If you work in finance and tell a friend, "I'm analyzing fiscal data to enhance financial outcomes," they might not fully grasp what you mean. Instead, try simplifying. "I work with numbers to help companies make better money decisions." This still communicates your expertise, but in a more accessible way.
And this adaptability is what makes your language skills versatile. It's about knowing when to dial up the technicality and when to bring it down a notch. This skill is particularly useful when switching between formal presentations and casual discussions. For example, when talking to a client, you'd use more polished language, like, "Our aim is to optimize your digital presence through strategic SEO enhancements." But when speaking with a colleague, you might say, "We're tweaking the website to make it show up better on Google."
Code switching is another great tool here. It's the practice of shifting between different linguistic styles depending on your audience. In a board meeting, you might be very formal, but with a friend or on social media, you can relax your language. This flexibility shows not only your mastery of specialized English, but also your awareness of context, which is crucial in effective communication. 3. Practicing specialized English in everyday conversations. Let's move on to using specialized English outside of formal settings, which can be a surprisingly valuable area of practice.
That's right, Sarah. Everyday conversations provide excellent opportunities to reinforce your skills. For instance, if you're in a casual conversation about your work in technology, instead of saying, "We're working on software scalability," you could say, "We're making sure our software can handle more users as we grow." This kind of practice helps you think on your feet and refine how you explain complex ideas in simple terms.
Another tip is to engage in discussions related to your field online. LinkedIn, Twitter, or even specialized forums are great places to see how other professionals talk about similar topics. Commenting on posts, sharing your insights, or writing about your experiences can be fantastic ways to practice your specialized language skills in a more relaxed setting.
And don't forget to bring this language into your personal learning routine. If you're listening to a podcast, reading an article, or watching a video related to your field, pay attention to how speakers use terminology and context. Then, practice summarizing what you've learned in your own words. This not only reinforces your understanding, but also improves your ability to articulate these concepts in real-life conversations. Fourth, targeted practice for mastery and continuous improvement. Our final point today is about targeted practice. Mastering specialized English doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process that requires consistent effort and strategic practice.
Start by identifying the areas where you feel less confident. Is it speaking during meetings, writing professional emails, explaining complex ideas simply? Focus your practice sessions on these weak points. For instance, if you struggle with speaking, consider joining a speaking club or finding a language partner. Practice explaining your field of work as if you were teaching it to someone with no background knowledge. This exercise will help you refine your language and make it more adaptable.
Role-playing is another excellent strategy. Simulate real-life scenarios with a partner, like job interviews, client meetings, or team presentations. The more you practice in realistic settings, the more comfortable you'll feel when these situations arise in real life.
And don't shy away from recording yourself. Whether it's practicing a presentation or just talking through a topic aloud, recording allows you to play back and critically assess your language use. You can identify areas where you sound too formal or where your specialized terms might need clearer explanations.
Feedback is also invaluable. Ask colleagues or mentors for their opinions on your communication style. Are there areas where you can improve? Is your use of specialized language enhancing your message, or is it getting lost? Constructive feedback can provide you with new insights and areas to focus on.
Lastly, keep pushing your boundaries. Attend webinars, take online courses, or join professional groups. The more you immerse yourself in environments where specialized language is used, the more naturally it will come to you in your own speech and writing.
Conclusion. That's a wrap for today's episode. We've covered how to apply specialized English in various contexts, from professional settings to everyday conversations, along with tips for continuous improvement through targeted practice.
Remember, the key to mastering specialized English is consistency and adaptability. By practicing regularly, seeking feedback, and continuously challenging yourself, you'll not only become more fluent, but also more confident in your communication skills.
Thanks for tuning in to the A to Z English podcast. We hope you found these tips helpful, and we encourage you to put them into practice. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a comment on how these strategies work for you. Until next time, keep learning and keep pushing your English skills to the next level.